But yeah, I'm the type of guy that buys a $400 industrial grade rug cleaner, even though only about 25% of my house is carpet, but justifying it that if I use it for the next 10 years, I'll get my monies out of it. So welcome back to the channel. Another tool video. Yeah, I know, right? Not the band tool, although amazing band. But in this video, I kind of want to talk about some obscure tools that are really nice to have. And I think I have 5 or 6 I want to showcase that I kind of showcased on the last one. And I'm having a hard time picking, in any particular order. But let's go ahead and start the video off with something that I used to use all the time, especially when I was working on motorcycles, which is T-wrenches. So these T-wrenches are metric because I usually drive imported motorcycles. I like Suzuki, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and those use metric. So these T-handles, let me just do a demonstration really quick. But sometimes they're not that great for like cracking a bolt that is heavily tightened. So you might want to crack it first with a wrench. But then let's say it has a long thread pattern. You just have it, and then you could just spin, and you can undo a screw in no time at all. And it's just so nice when you're trying to get into somewhere. It's got a long shaft, so you can get somewhere deep. It does the job. And something I like about this particular set is it actually has 2 screwdriver tips as well. So this one's kind of cool too, right? If you just have, a Phillips to get out, you can get it out really fast. So when I was working on motorcycles, and it has like the most common, the 10, the 8, and the 12, and the 17. So this one I think was meant particularly for, motorcycles, but you can see it goes 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, and then number 2 and number 3 screwdrivers. But and I still have the original case. It's a good way to kind of keep them all together. All right, love that tool. So let's follow the theme of motorcycles. A nice torque wrench is the way to go. If you ever read your manual for your car or your motorcycle, or even a lot of appliances and things like that, there's usually a torque setting for the bolts, especially the important bolts. And when something is moving, like a drone or a car or a bicycle, you want to make sure you torque it correctly, because if you under torque it, it could come off. And if you over torque it, it could get cross-threaded or just not come off. You have lots of issues that could happen with it. And so just having the right torque wrench and reading the manual, it takes all that guesswork out. I know a lot of the men out there are going to be like, yeah, I just, give it one extra. And it's like, let's be a little bit more exact than that. And you read them, it might say 40 foot-pounds. You get it on there, you get make sure you have a nice connection. It's not like a loose, and the less extensions you can use, the better. And get the proper foot-pounds of torque on your bolts. Trust me, it's awesome. Following that same kind of thing is back when I was racing motorcycles, everything needed to be safety tied. So you have to drill your bolts and safety tie things together. And these little safety tie tools are just amazing. You can safety tie just about anything. But for those of you who've never seen safety tie, this is very common on airplanes and stuff. And basically you can just pull that down, you hold it where you want it, and you twist the tool, and you can, let's say this is a bad example because this can slide right off, but I can now tie, whatever this was attached to something else, and then tighten that behind this. And so you can chain together things, and you can go ahead and lock things in place so that things don't get loose. But it's just a cheap way to secure your bolts. And you wouldn't believe, like, I kind of use safety tying a lot, like I use zip ties. So if you don't want safety ties, I would say, yeah, let's add zip ties to this. Get yourself a bunch of zip ties. This is only one. I have like 3 bags like this. Zip ties as well work well, but this is going to withstand heat as well, so it comes in handy. So safety ties, really obscure, but you're going to get some use out of it. So these right here, very obscure, but when you need them, you're gonna be so thankful. I need to put new batteries in this, but what this is it's a flashlight, but it's also a magnet. So let's go ahead and pull that out. Do you see that? It's a telescoping magnet, and even the front kind of, you know, moves around. But when I ever dropped a bolt in my car, in my engine bay, or even if it's just in a tight spot, this thing can, you know, find, I think, look at it, I can even pull open this drawer almost. Look at that. Look at that! So having some sort of telescoping magnet, now you can get much cheaper versions of this. This one's a little nicer because it has the, you know, not just the telescoping, but also the bendability and the flashlight. So it has a little extra, but you know, there's a couple different options of this. I love it. If you lose a bolt, you know how frustrating it is, especially if it's a special bolt you can't just go to Home Depot and get. Speaking of that, you also have this little claw here. And basically what it is you push this down, the plunger, and then that opens it up. Then pushing down the plunger, it opens up. And for example, I could pick up this screw right here. There's a couple screws, look at that. I just picked up that screw. Pretty cool, right? So again, I have big hands. You need a little help sometimes. Love that. Those come in handy all the time. All right, and then the last specialty tool, which will cut the heck out of you, so be careful. This is Craftsman. There's some extra blades in here, but basically it's just a big razor blade with a little rubberized bottom, and it can cut through anything. And what I actually use it for the most, weirdly enough, is adjusting belts. Whenever I buy a leather belt, lose weight, and I need to make the belt shorter, you can cut a little of the length off, and this will do it in one snip. But anything you need cut, and you want it cut perfectly perpendicular or perfectly straight, this will do it for you. You know, a rubber hose, you know, a piece of plastic, it'll just cut it perfectly. Unlike a, you know, a box cutter where, you know, I don't know if you all tried that before, but the box cutter just does not cut it for that. And then lastly, a big hunk of impact is always good. Otherwise, I also have this. If you've ever had a bolt that just won't come out, it is the worst. And having some sort of bar to get some kind of leverage on it, or an impact wrench that's just gonna give it that, just that oomph you're gonna need to, you know, especially an old bolt or something that's over torqued. You would not believe how much pain this has saved me with drilling something out or taking it to, you know, someone to do it for me. If you're into that, if you're not doing any kind of heavy stuff, you don't need this stuff. You know, it's really for some heavier jobs. So there you have it. Bunch of little specialty tools, things I use all the time. Yeah, let me know. What else? What should I add to my arsenal here? What am I missing? I'll put some links in the description if you're interested. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.